here tonight?
No, he sent out, they've extended it.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Next week?
Yeah.
All right, I thought I read it. I must have not seen that.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. But it was too soon.
Is that, was that our new agenda? Is that what it was? You just changed, made a new agenda? Okay, that's the reason I didn't see it, 'cause I looked at the old agenda. Where it said, thought I did. Where did I see it? Okay, maybe that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah. That's what it was, Barb. Actually, this might be fairly, well, like this and there's probably not gonna be much discussion there. Reardon, Fisher gone, Fisher gone, and others gone.
Are you? Are you segregating anything?
Mhm.
Are you segregating anything?
Everything's pretty straightforward.
Should we do anything for St. Yarrows?
No.
I'd like to call the Butte-Silver Bowl Council of Commissioners regular meeting for Wednesday, March 15th, 2023 to order. Clerk, can we please have
9 present, 3 absent.
9 present, 3 absent? Please note that Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Reardon, and Commissioner Fisher are excused from tonight. Commissioner Sorge, could you lead us in the prayer and the pledge?
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive, fellow commissioners. Almighty God, we implore you, look upon us and guide us this night as we make decisions which will greatly affect our community of Butte-Silver Bow. Direct our thoughts, words, and deeds so that we please you and best serve our fellow citizens. Amen. Pledge allegiance.
Next, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I move to approve the minutes from the March 1st, 2023 regular meeting.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Motion passes. We don't have any items that are not addressed on the agenda tonight. The Chief Executive's report, I'll make it kind of short and sweet tonight. We did launch the new website, so I hope commissioners are able to get online, take a look at the new design. I know there was a lot of work put into it, and so if you notice anything on the website, please notify us that needs to be added or additions to it or how it's working for you and everything. It's supposed to be more user-friendly. I haven't been able to put a lot of time and effort looking into it, but it looks good, and so I appreciate that. Over the last couple weeks, we've gone to a couple local funerals, and you realize the impact that people have in our community, and so it just makes you appreciate. And I want to share my appreciation for all of you that everything that you guys do. There's a lot of time and effort that's put into our community, as I saw some people that put a lot of time and effort into kids and community as well. So thank you all for what you guys do. And with that, we're going to move on today, and we'll move on to any public comment on any item on the agenda tonight. If you'd like to speak about any item on the agenda, please step forward, state your name, your address, and the item you'll be speaking of. Seeing none, we'll move on to Section 1, bid openings, public hearings, and/or presentations. First, we have a bid opening, communication number 2023-121. Clerk, do we have proof of publication? I'm sorry, County Attorney, do we have proof of publication?
Yes, we do, and that proof of publication appears to be in order.
Thank you, County Attorney, Deputy County Attorney Shea. So communication number 2023-121, Mark Neri, Public Works Director, requesting Council Commissioners approval to schedule a bid opening for March 15th, 2023 for doors and openers for the shop building road division. Project Manager Gleason.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioners. It looks like we have one bid on this, and it would be from Alpha Overhead Door at 2904 Silverwell Boulevard in Butte, Montana.
There is a bid bond, and it appears to be in order.
Thank you, Deputy County Attorney Shea.
We have a bid of $135,000.
So that's $135,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So, Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to refer this back to the Public Works Department for a recommendation back to this body.
We have a motion and a second to refer back to the Public Works Department. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yeas, 0 nay. Motion passes. Motion passes. Nice job, Mr. Gleason, on your first bid opening. Moving on to public hearings. We have 5 public hearings tonight. So, Deputy County Attorney Shea, do we have proof of publication for the 5?
We do have proof of publication, and they appear to be in order.
Thank you, Deputy County Attorney Shea. First one is communication number 2023-1 107, Danette Gleason, Finance and Budget Director, requesting Council of Commissioners approval of the use of up to $60,000 in ARPA grant funds for the development of a preliminary master plan and to set a public hearing on March 15, 2023 to amend the fiscal year 2023 budget to use ARPA grant funds to fund this project. Director Gleason.
Chief Executive Gallagher, for the record, Danette Gleason, the Finance and Budget Director. Commissioners, thank you for the time tonight to hold this public hearing. This is to amend the budget. If you recall, 2 weeks ago, you approved Communication 2023-107 to move forward with appropriating the grant revenue from the American Rescue Plan Act, the ARPA funds, to be used in the amount of up to $60,000 to complete this study of the Butte-Silver Fire Services Department.
Thank you, Director Gleason. Are there any questions of commissioners? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. First, I'll call for proponents. First call for proponents. Second call for proponents. Third and final call for proponents. Next, we'll move on to opponents. First call for opponents. Second call for opponents. Third and final call for opponents. We'll close the public hearing. Okay. Moving on to communication number 2023-113, Lisa Carey, Office of Emergency Management, requesting Council of Commissioners approval to hold a public hearing on March 15, 2023 for the purpose of amending the fiscal year 2023 or 2022-2023 budget to allow for increased expenditures of unanticipated revenue to attend the annual IAFC Hazmat Conference in Baltimore, Maryland. Ms. Carey, welcome.
Chief Executive, Council of Commissioners, thank you for the time on the agenda tonight. For the record, my name is Lisa Carey from the Office of Emergency Management. This unanticipated revenue is from a hazardous materials emergency preparedness grant that will allow 6 Butte-Silver firefighters/hazmat technicians to attend the annual International Association of Fire Chiefs Hazmat Conference in Baltimore, Maryland in June. The amount of the grant is $15,100 with a required soft match of $3,775 for a total project cost of $18,875. The soft match will be fulfilled with in-kind service resulting from the time the firefighters/hazmat technicians spend in training.
Thank you, Ms. Carey. Do commissioners have any questions? Seeing none, I'll move on. We'll open the public hearing. First call for proponents. Second call for proponents. Third and final call for proponents. Next, we'll move on to opponents. First call for opponents. Second call for opponents. Third and final call for opponents. We'll close the public hearing. Thank you, Ms. Carey. Moving on to communication number 2023-114, Lisa Carey, Office of Emergency Management, requesting Council of Commissioners approval to hold a public hearing on March 15th for unanticipated revenue, hazardous material emergency preparedness HMEP grant to host a 40-hour ERTI hazmat response regional training in Butte. Ms. Carey.
Chief Executive, Council of Commissioners, thank you for the time on the agenda tonight. For the record, my name is Lisa Carey from the Office of Emergency Management. This unanticipated revenue is from a hazardous materials emergency preparedness grant that will allow the Butte-Silver Fire Department to host a regional 40-hour hazmat response training in Butte through the Emergency Response Training Institute out of Spokane, Washington. The unanticipated revenue will cover the cost of hiring ERTI to bring the training equipment and personnel to Butte. The amount of the grant award is $57,914 with a required soft match of $14,478 for a total project cost of $72,392. The soft match will be fulfilled with in-kind service resulting from the time the firefighters/ hazmat technicians spend in training.
Thank you, Ms. Carey. Do commissioners have any questions? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. First call for proponents. Second call for proponents. Third and final call for proponents. Next, we'll move on to opponents. First call for opponents. Second call for opponents. Third and final call for opponents. We'll close the public hearing. Moving on to communication number 2023-115, Lisa Carey, Office of Emergency Management, requesting Council of Commissioners approval to hold a public hearing on March 15, 2023 for unanticipated revenue, hazardous material, emergency preparedness, HMEP grant to facilitate a command and control seminar in Butte, Montana. Ms. Carey.
Chief Executive, Council of Commissioners, thank you for the time on the agenda tonight. For the record, my name is Lisa Carey from the Office of Emergency Management. This unanticipated revenue is from a hazardous materials emergency preparedness grant that will allow the Butte-Silver Fire Department to host a one-day command and control hazmat seminar in Butte. The unanticipated revenue will cover the cost of the seminar, as well as the expenses of the instructors to bring this training to Butte. The amount of the grant is $6,000 with a soft match of $1,500 for a total project cost of $7,500. The soft match will be fulfilled with in-kind service resulting from the time that firefighters/hazmat technicians spend in training.
Thank you, Ms. Carey. Any questions of commissioners? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. First call for proponents. Second call for proponents. Third and final call for proponents. Next, we'll move to opponents. First call for opponents. Second call for opponents. Third and final call for opponents. We'll close the public hearing. Next, we'll move on to communication number 2023-134, Karen Malachny, Butte-Silver Bowl Health Officer, requesting Council of Commissioners approval to hold a public hearing on March 15, 2023 for the purpose of amending the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget to allow for increased expenditure and unanticipated revenue resulting from Pathways to Recognition Program Task Order. Director Malachny.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher, Council of Commissioners. Thank you for your time this evening. This request is to amend the 2022-2023 fiscal year budget to allow for unanticipated revenue to allow us to participate in the Pathways program, which is the first step in the process to get the health department accredited. And so that's, this wasn't budgeted for in our budget this year, so it's to ask for that.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Director Malachny by commissioners? No? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing. First call for proponents. Second call for proponents. Third and final call for proponents. Next, we'll move to opponents. First call for opponents. Second call for opponents. Third and final call for opponents. That will close the public hearing. Next, we'll move on to Section 2, Consent Agenda, A1 through 4 and B1 through 24. Is there any friendly amendments or segregations? Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I'd like to segregate communication, or 10, communication number 2023-144.
That's communication number 2023-114. Are there any other segregations? Seeing none, Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to approve Section 2 of the consent agenda, A 1 through 4 and B 1 through 24, with the exceptions of number 10, communication 2023-144.
We have a motion and a second to approve tonight's consent agenda. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving to communication number 2023-144, Aubrey Japp, Butte-Silver Bowl Public Archives Director, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to have Chief Executive Gallagher sign an agreement with Fox Alarm and Technology for security system monitoring for the Clark Chateau. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. So I segregated this after a discussion with Deputy County Attorney Shea. There still needs to be a little bit of work on this contract, so we're going to hold it. So I move to hold communication number 2023-144.
We have a motion and a second to hold communication number 2023-144. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
9 yeas, 0 nay.
9 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Motion passes. Moving on to section 3, ordinances and resolutions for final reading. We have two tonight. The first one is resolution number 2023-407. Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution authorizing and approving the sale of real property owned by the city and county of Butte-Silver Bow, state of Montana, described as 2,479 and 1/4 square feet of newly created Lot A-1 on Certificate of Survey located in the southeast quarter and the southwest quarter of Section 12, Township 3 North, Range 8 West within the city county of Butte-Silver Bow, Montana, to the adjoining owners Carol A. Gregg and Philip Bartow, pursuant to policies adopted by the Council of Commissioners and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to place resolution number 2023-07 on final reading and passed, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second to place resolution number 2023-07 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Please vote. And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
9 yeas, 0 nay.
9 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to resolution number 2023-08. Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution granting conditional approval of the amended plat of Lot 3 Davis N. Ruth Minor Subdivision of the City and County of Butte-Silver Bow, State of Montana, providing for the repeal of all parts of resolutions in conflict herewith and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to place resolution number 2023-08 on final reading and passed, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second placing resolution number 2023-08 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
9 yeas, 0 nay.
9 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. We'll move on to, we don't have a section 4, so we'll move on to calendar and other meeting and events. Oh, Deb has, oh, okay, all right. So we'll move on to any public comment on any item not on the agenda tonight. Anything that you would like to speak of, please step forward to the mic, state your name, address, and what you'd like to speak to us about. Yeah.
To present how we use the mill levy economic development grant. And I'm here, so am I supposed to talk or not? Or am I not supposed to be here or what?
Could you please state your name?
Okay, my name is Tenny Hammond. I'm the program coordinator of the Butte Literacy Program.
Thank
and
you.
I received a call last Wednesday telling me to be here tonight.
Okay. That was on the agenda tonight to be there, and you could, I'll allow you to speak now, even though it was on the agenda, if you'd like to speak about what you.
So I'm not on the agenda?
It was on the agenda, but the order that it goes is that you would speak about the item that was on the agenda at the beginning of the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But that's okay. So I'll give you time now That's fine. We'll allow you to speak if you would like to, Tina.
Okay, and I apologize for the confusion.
That's fine.
Okay. I have gifts.
Oh, okay. So we'll do the presentation, allow you to do this tonight. The presentations are actually going to be next week, but I'm going to have you do this so you don't have to come back.
Okay, thank you.
Does that work?
I don't know where the confusion came from.
I think that there was probably miscommunication that was sent to you as well, so that's not your fault either. It's just a little miscommunication, so we'll just go forward.
Go ahead.
Yes.
First of all, I want to officially thank the county commissioners for this grant. I am the only employee of the Butte Literacy Program, and I do everything. I clean the office, I enroll the students, I train the tutors, I raise money, and whenever we get a grant, that buys me time to actually focus on growing the program. So the grant you gave us gave me 40 hours to devote to nothing but improving the Butte Literacy Program. So what I put together for you tonight is a packet that explains virtually everything about us. On the left-hand side, it says everything you always want to know about the Butte Literacy Program in 428 words. Okay? For an old English teacher, that's a real feat to stick to 428 words. But the important part is the front of the next packet, or whatever it's called. What have we done with the funding that you provided us? Our enrollment has grown to 206 since September of 2021 when I prepared the grant. That's a 26% increase. We have 30 to 35 active students at any given time. Our program is completely free, and we estimate our cost per students, including testing and materials, at $100 per person. We have graduated an additional 16 students since 2001, so we now have 37 graduates. Of our 37 graduates, 17 have been accepted into post-high school career or college programs or the military. I work with them to complete their applications and their FAFSAs. I produce a quarterly newsletter that goes out to donors and organizations, and you have a copy of our winter version in the packet. Articles I wrote for the Montana Standard brought us 2 new tutors. A man stopped me in the library where our office is and said, "Hey, you wrote the article in the paper this morning. It was good." I asked him if he would like to be a tutor. He said no. So I said, "Would you like to contribute some money?" He said it wasn't that good. So it was kind of a reality check. I guess there are degrees of good. I have added and trained 3 new tutors in the last year. I have started the adult literacy event with other community organizations to improve the accessibility, effectiveness, and sustainability of adult literacy in Butte. Our first meeting was on March 9th, and follow-ups are already planned for next week. But our whole purpose in this is to make all the organizations that work with adults who are undereducated aware of what we do and work with them to see how we can improve the services to those adults. We redesigned our website to offer more information about our program. I have redesigned all the program's brochures to reflect the separate needs and interests of each group. The brochure for students, for example, is written at the 5th grade reading level, which is about what our students read at. The board of directors is made up of volunteers who are well qualified to guide the development of this program. Members include an attorney, the county superintendent of schools, 2 retired educators, the library director, and a client advocate. Our 12 tutors who currently work with our students are also volunteers and come from diverse backgrounds: education, counseling, environmental biology, surveying, vocational rehab, freelance writing, law, and construction. 1 tutor is actually a graduate of our program. And behind this sheet that lists what your money bought us is our fact sheet, which gives you our stats. And behind that are thumbnail sketches of some of our students to make it slightly more personal than simply a whole list of numbers. So I am very grateful to the council for awarding us this grant just about a year ago. 40 hours to focus on just building the program is a true gift. And I think I have realized that 40 hours worth of freedom. So thank you. If you have questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Teeny. Your program is a huge success, and I, was able to go up to the library and see
Okay.
the work that you do. Is there any questions of commissioners for Teeny? Yeah, Commissioner Callahan and then Commissioner Shea.
Thank you. I appreciate everything you do for the community. I was just curious, are you putting in for another, for grant money out of this year's?
No, I hadn't seen a notice go out about this grant again. So no, I have not done anything about this grant specifically.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Tenny, thank you so much. This just warms my heart to see. I sit on the library board, and I really appreciate what you are doing to help people who are undereducated or needing some help. It's really important for society as a whole, the work that you're doing, not to mention the self-satisfaction that people get from learning something new. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and we agree with that. I urge you to read thumbnail sketches to get some idea of the diversity of kind of students we work with and the various problems they bring to us. Everything from homelessness for a 17-year-old to students who dropped out in 8th grade. Yeah. What do we do with these young people? And these older ones who come to us as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
I
being here
appreciate it. And
tonight.
again, I apologize for the confusion.
It's not a problem at all. Thank you very much for the. All right, so we will move on to, please note the calendar and other events that we have going on, and then I will take a motion to adjourn. Oh, before we do, Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Just a quick announcement to remind the commissioners that we do have our technical training next Monday night at the EOC at 5:30. It's important that the public know that this is happening as well. And also, Barb will be posting it on the community calendar, but there will be no public business discussed or any action taken on anything like that. It's just a technical training for the commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea. So seeing that we have a motion to adjourn, do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signal by aye. Opposed? This meeting is adjourned.